So we are facing a public health crisis right now with COVID-19, and it's shaking a lot of people up. And after seeing how shaken up and scared people are about this situation, I realized this isn't the first time this has happened, and this isn't the last time it's going to happen. Crises and challenges in our lives are constantly coming and going, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to address how we can handle challenges and crises now and in the future, whether they're global pandemics or personal challenges in our lives. So in this video, we're going to talk about some mindset tools and tactics that you guys can use to upgrade your mindset when things get difficult or challenging. So stay tuned. All right, freedom fighters, it's Adam over at Teach You Freedom, where, as you know, our mission is to help you guys remove the mental and emotional barriers that are stopping you from living a life on your terms, which is what we call freedom. And on this week's mastery lesson, I've really been sitting and pondering, like most of us are in quarantine, about what we're facing as a nation, as a global community, and how we can better handle crises like global pandemics, but even on a smaller personal scale, things like breakups, loss of jobs, tumultuous situations in our lives, deaths in the family, anything that causes a challenge or kind of uprooting of how we were living life previously to an event and how we can handle that after an event. So what I want to share with you guys are some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way of how we can better manage our mindset to get better outcomes during a challenge or a crisis. So in this lesson, what we're going to be talking about is 6 tactics that I use to help me get through these challenging times. And I'm going to teach those to you guys now. So before I hop into these 6 tactics that I want to share with you guys in this video, I want to talk about what makes a challenge or a crisis so difficult to navigate, right? I'm talking about things like losing your job, the turn in an economy, losing a loved one, a breakup, even something like COVID-19 where there's a global pandemic and our whole life changes, right? What is it about these situations that make them so hard? And oftentimes and now we're really faced with 2 things, right? Our worlds are completely turned upside down and we're faced with a lot of fear and uncertainty, right? That's where crises really dwell and affect us. It's an emotional experience, but it's also a psychological experience, right? And we lose a lot of that certainty and confidence that we had in ourselves and the world around us when we, face a crisis or a challenge. And so most of these tactics that I'm going to be sharing with you are ways that we can overcome uncertainty and fear by building confidence and certainty in our lives through some routines, tactics, and mindset upgrades. So let's dive into it. All right, so first tactic, right? Ground zero, the challenge of the crisis hits. What's the first thing we should do? Well, I think it's really important that first and foremost, we feel whatever emotions come up during a challenging time or a crisis. Now, why is that so important? Well, I think as a society, we've really been conditioned to push away negative emotions or push away negative feelings and pretend like nothing happened, right? Move right along, everything's fine. Let's keep going like things normally have. But the reality is things aren't normal anymore, right? Something's happened that's caused a dramatic shift in your life, and it's really important that we feel whatever comes up when that happens. Whatever we resist persists, and if we continue to push away negative emotions or things that we don't want to feel, they're just going to catch up to us in the future, right? So I think the first most important thing to do is just feel whatever comes up, right? Feel it so that it can move through you instead of lingering inside of you. And I think that's the launch point to be able to do some of the work that we need to do to move past it. So first and foremost, feel whatever comes up during a time of crisis or challenge so that you can move through it. And the trick here is to feel things so you don't stay stuck there. What happens oftentimes is when we don't feel things, we end up staying stuck in that place with all those emotions. And our whole goal is to use that as a launch pad to move forward, right? To change from a place of passivity to a place of action. So step 1, feel whatever comes up during a time of challenge or crisis. All right, you guys, so tactic number 2, right? Oftentimes in a crisis, what happens is whatever our life was before dramatically changes after the event happens. And so what we need to do is figure out a way to get different results because our lives are completely different and we need to adapt to that. So oftentimes to get different results, what we need to do is ask different questions, right? And these are 3 questions that I constantly ask myself when times get tough or I'm experiencing a lot of change to help me focus my mind, right? And these 3 questions are as follows. First and foremost, when an event happens, what are you going to focus on? Are you going to focus on the things that are going right or the things that are going wrong? Are you going to focus on the good or are you going to focus on the bad, right? And the funny thing is that wherever our attention goes, wherever our focus goes, energy flows and it tends to grow, right? If you focus on the bad, you tend to see more bad. If you focus on the good, you tend to see more good. And the reality of the situation is that you can control what you focus on. What are you going to put your time and energy into? And where are you going to concentrate your energy? Okay, so question number 1, what am I going to focus on? Are you going to focus on what's going right or what's wrong? All right. Second question that we can ask ourselves, what are we going to do? right? A lot of times we're in control, not of many things, right? We can't control the environment, we can't control politics, we can't control the economy, but we can focus on our own thoughts and our own actions. So what are you gonna do? In the case of COVID-19, are you gonna be the person that sits on the couch and watches Netflix and eats Cheetos, right? That might be okay for a day, but not for a long time. Or are you gonna be the person who uses this time to reach out to friends and family, connect with loved ones, read a book, feed your mind. And the whole goal here is to choose actions that are going to empower you, not disempower you. And empowerment is all about choosing actions that bring you to your higher self, your higher calling in life, and not things that tear you down. So are you going to choose empowering actions, or are you going to choose disempowering actions, right? And let's just take for a breakup, for example, right? Are you going to focus on how your life was in the past and choose your negative disempowering actions? You're going to go out drinking with your buddies, or choose to feel bad for yourself, or are you going to do something that's going to empower you and get you back out there? Start working out, start reading books, right? Start working on your dating game. I don't know what it is, whatever it is for you, but choose something that's going to empower you versus disempowering you, right? What are you going to do? And third, but definitely not least, the most important actually is, what does this event mean to you? What are you going to choose to let this event mean? Is this going to mean that this is the end, or is this going to mean that this is the beginning, right? Is this going to be the worst thing that's ever happened to you, or is it going to be the best thing that's ever going to happen to you? Now, the meaning behind something is so important, because you can take two people who are experiencing the exact same situation, right? Both people go into a breakup, or experience financial collapse, or COVID-19, and you can follow those two people, and both of them are going to react differently. And the reason they react so differently is because what they choose to let that event mean. The meaning behind whatever we associate behind an event is going to choose or allow us to go down a different path. It's going to affect our thoughts, our behaviors, our emotions, and whatever we choose to mean is in our control, right? There's a lot of things, like I said, that are outside of our control, but the meaning that we put behind a situation is really in our control. So are you going to choose to let this be the best thing that ever happened to you, or the worst thing? Are you going to tell yourself, this breakup is the end, my love life is over, I'm never going to find somebody ever again? Or are you going to say, this is an opportunity for me to find somebody else, somebody better, and I'm going to work on myself until I find that person, right? So what is the meaning? What are you going to choose to let this event mean? All right, you guys, so tactic number 3, right? Oftentimes when we're facing a challenge or a crisis, it's a completely new way of being, or we have to adjust to a completely new set of circumstances. And what's really important is that we build in some new habits, some new routines, and some new goals, right? So tactic number 3 is set new routines and goals. First and foremost, routines are super important, right? It gives you more certainty, right? We talked about challenges or crisis building a lot of uncertainty. Let's build some certainty back into our lives by doing a couple things every single day that we're absolutely committed to. Routines, right? Things like working out, things like going for a walk, things like journaling, things like meditating, right? These are all practices that we can build in for 5 to 10 minutes a day that can really give us some certainty and something to look forward to, right? I don't know what your routines look like, but for me, my routines are reading every single day, exercising every single day, taking time to go on walks, connecting with other people, journaling, meditating, right? I listed some of those things earlier, but those are the things that I do to give me some consistency, and I work them into regularly scheduled times in my day so I can have them on my calendar to look forward to. I don't know what your routines look like, but put something on your calendar, right? Maybe you're going to take a walk every single morning. Maybe you're going to meditate every single day after you make a cup of coffee. Whatever it is, find your routine every single day that you can look forward to and rely on to give you some certainty no matter what else is going on in the world. Secondly, new goals, right? During a time of crisis or during a challenging time, it might be hard to stay on track with whatever it was you were doing before. So instead of putting the pressure on yourself to do everything the way you were before, maybe just focus on one small goal, one small promise that you can keep to yourself every single day that you can work towards, right? Sometimes it can be overwhelming to put a bunch of things on our plate, and during a time of crisis or uncertainty, we really get knocked off track, right? There's a lot of uncertainty, and we get pretty fearful. And so to build confidence, not in the outside world, but in your ability to react to it, is to keep a promise to yourself every single day. This is going to help you build an internal locus of control, right? Your ability to control what you can control. And if you make a promise to yourself and you keep that every single day, your ability or your confidence to execute is going to grow and grow. And during a time of crisis, being able to depend on yourself to follow through on whatever it is you say you're going to do is going to be huge for momentum, confidence, and really just give you a little bit of certainty and control in your life. So tactic number 3, build routines and build a new goal or set of goals in your life. All right, so tactic number 4, modify your expectations, right? I think a lot of us think that during a time of challenge or crisis, we think we can just go back to the way things were. And the reality is that our new reality is much different. And oftentimes you could be doing all the things I've already mentioned, but you're still met with a lot of pain, anxiety, and fear. And the reason that is because your expectations haven't changed from your old reality to your new reality. And oftentimes what causes a lot of pain and suffering in our lives is when our expectations don't meet reality. If you are amidst COVID-19 and you think that you can just go back to the way you were, going outside whenever you want, seeing whoever you want, the economy is going to be great, you're going to be met with a lot of pain and suffering because that's not the new reality, right? It's that dissonance between what we want things to be like and what they actually are that creates a lot of pain. So tactic number 4 is to change your expectations of reality, right? Maybe in this, new COVID era, you're not going to be able to do all the things you used to do, but focus on the things that you can do now. Let's say you're going through a breakup, right? Your old reality might be, I always have somebody to hang out with, I have somebody that I can talk to, I have somebody I can do stuff with, and your new reality might be different. Well, instead of expecting things to always be like they were, let's focus on a new expectation of what they are now, right? You have yourself, you can do things alone, you can reach out to new friends and family members to do stuff with. Let's say, you lost your job. Instead of focusing on the old expectation that I have a place to go every single day, I have, a steady job, I have, income, whatever it might be, your new reality or your new expectation is I can do X, Y, and Z things. I can, give my resume to 5 people. I can find a part-time job, right? Whatever your expectations are from your old reality, you need to change them to meet the new reality. Otherwise, you're going to be met with a lot of pain. And in a state of pain and suffering, you're really not going to be doing yourself any good, and you're not going to be able to get results you need during a time of crisis. So tactic number 4 is change your expectations, right? Change your expectations to fit your new reality instead of your old reality, and you'll be met with a lot more pleasure and a lot more happiness and a lot more joy in your life. All right, so tactic number 5 is stand guard at the door of your mind. And this is something that Jim Rohn used to say all the time, somebody that I've studied really thoroughly. And he used to say this in regards to what you're feeding your mind, right? What thoughts are you letting in? This is so important during a time of crisis or a challenge, no matter what you're going through. What are you studying, right? What are you feeding your mind? You are what you read, you are what you watch, you are what you listen to, you are who you hang around, right? What are you consuming and what are you putting into your mind? So often during a time of challenge, there's so much bad that we could focus on, right? We could focus on all the bad stuff that's happening in the economy, in the news, in our personal relationships. But the reality of the situation is you can change what you're feeding your mind. I know social media is a huge one that's going on today, right? You can choose who you're following, who you're interacting with, what posts you're seeing. And the reality of the situation is during a time of challenge or crisis, we need to feed and consume our minds with good, empowering stuff, right? Not stuff that's going to make us feel fearful, scared, not that stuff that's going to be selling us on, wanting to feel out of control, but things that are going to empower us. So I want to ask you guys, what are you feeding your minds during time of crisis, right? And take audit of that. When you get done, watching something on TV or the news or something on Instagram, right? Does it make you feel better? Or does that make you feel worse? Does that make you feel more empowered or less empowered? This is so important because, like I said, what you focus on tends to grow. If you find more positive stuff to feed your mind with, the more that's going to grow abundantly. If you focus on negative stuff, though, or you're feeding yourself negative, fear-mongering thoughts, that's going to continue to grow and manifest in your life. So really be careful of what you're feeding your mind. I love the quote, it's not the water around the ship that sinks it, but the water that gets in it, right? Whatever gets into your mind is going to dictate your destiny one way or the other, whether it be good or bad. So let's choose things that are going to empower us instead of disempowering us. So tactic number 5, stand guard at the door of your mind. What are you feeding your mind every single day? And is it helping you through this time of challenge or crisis, or is it hurting you? Is it empowering you or is it disempowering you? All right, you guys, so tactic number 6, last and definitely not least, through it all, no matter what's going on, the number one tactic I can give you guys is to stay optimistic, right? And when I say optimistic, I don't mean positive. Positive is, everything's fine, everything's great. It's the denial that reality might suck right now, right? The reality of the situation, no matter what you're going through, is it probably sucks, right? It's probably not a ton of fun. But my challenge for you is not to stay positive, right? Don't deny the fact that it might stink, but stay optimistic. Optimistic or optimism is the thought that whatever you're going through now, the future is going to be better, right? No matter what happens, you're going to get through it and things are going to be better on the other side. And this is the most crucial thing I can offer you guys. This is a cornerstone of my mentality, my values, is that the future is going to be better no matter what I'm going through. You're going to go through hard stuff in life. You don't have to always be positive, but you do have to keep hope. Keep hope and optimism that the future will be better and that you will get through it. And if you guys can ride this wave of whatever you're going through with the understanding that the future is going to be better, that whatever's going on right now will pass and soon soon you'll be met with something bigger and better. If you can keep that optimism, you're going to make it through whatever challenge you're facing, whatever crisis you're going through, and just put in the right actions to know that this is going to pass, and whatever's going to happen in the future is going to be bigger and better than whatever's happening right now. Those are the 6 tactics that I can share with you guys. I hope this really helps you get through whatever challenging time you're going through, no matter what it might be. If you guys found this valuable, let me know what your favorite tactic was down below in the comments. If you guys really like seeing content like this, let me know, hit the subscribe button, and be sure to check out the future videos I'm going to put out. Until next time, I hope you guys have a great day.